Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all the assembled devotees. So we'll continue our discussion chapter 18, session 2 today. So let us start our day with prayers to Shri Radha Govinda and seeking blessings from our Guru Parampara. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Chakrapa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnavvrindi ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Guru Maharaj ki Jai Guru Parampara ki Jai Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hope the screen is visible to all.
Hare Krishna,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Okay, so let us continue our discussion of chapter 18. So yesterday till sloka 22 we had covered. So we'll move further. So let us have a quick recap of what we learned from our yesterday's session. So somebody can add some points from our yesterday's discussion. Who is to go ahead? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please go ahead.
Yesterday we talked about Karma Yoga. That is, we had to renounce the fruits of our work and not the work itself. Then we told what is renunciation or Tyaga. That is, we had to give up the results of our activities, and that state is renounced order of life is called sannyasa. Then, if the prescribed duties are renounced due to illusion, then we are in the mode of ignorance. And if it is renounced due to bodily discomfort, then it is in the mode of passion. And if we are doing our prescribed duties for the satisfaction of Krishna, as a matter of duty, if we are doing, then we are in the mode of goodness. Then in the next section, we talked about the 5 factors of any action. That is the place of action, the performer, the senses, endeavor, and the super source. And then we talked that all the actions which are done under the supreme will of the Lord does not have any reaction. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji. Very nicely covered. So all those activities we are doing for the pleasure of the Lord by the supreme will of the Lord has no reaction. At the same time, we are doing to serve our own senses and Maya, then we are continue to get entangled, right? So good. Now we are going to discuss various kind of action. So through this section, we are going to talk about more entanglements, how we are entangled, our actions, our intelligence, everything, how it is entangled in three modes we'll be discussing. And then section D, we'll try to cover this also today. Worshipping the Lord through one's occupational work is true renunciation and brings freedom from reaction. So whatever prescribed duties we are doing, if you are doing as a mercy of the Lord and for the pleasure of the Lord, then that is the true renunciation without any expectation of fruits of results. That is the true renunciation, is what we discuss. And purification through prescribed duty is the section. And then 5.6 to 60, we discuss about pure devotional service. Hopefully we try to cover hereafter in the next section. And we also see surrender to the super soul and the most confidential knowledge of all, become a pure devotee of Krishna, and preaching and studying Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says the most dearest of the devotee is the one who preach this confidential knowledge to as many conditioned souls as possible. So we will look into that. And Arjuna is firmly fixed. And finally, with Sanjaya's prediction, we will end this chapter. So let us start with first three slokas for the day. Somebody can take up.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Nityam sangarahitam aragadveshatah kritam afala prepshuna karma yattat sattvikamutchate yattu kamepshuna karma sahankarena va punah kriyate bahulayasam tat rajasamudahratam अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनपेक्ष च पौरुषम् मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत्तत्तामसमुच्यते. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Thank you
Prabhuji.
very much.
As for actions, that action in accordance with duty, which is performed without attachment, without love or hate, by one who has renounced fruitive results, is called action in the mode of goodness. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires, and which is enacted from a sense of false ego, is called action in the mode of passion. And that action performed in ignorance and delusion, without consideration of future bondage or consequences, which inflicts injury and is impractical, is said to be action in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji. So here we are talking about different kind of actions and in different modes. So 18.23, it starts with a knowledge which gives us that our occupational duties, our prescribed duties, following the scriptures as per Varnashrama Dharma and without love or hate, we are doing, and by renouncing the fruitive results and performing for the pleasure of the Lord. Such an action is mode of goodness. And the second is mode of passion, the action performed with great effort. We put so much of great effort, but what is the objective of those efforts? For our sense gratification, and which as enacted from a sense of false ego, false pride. Such actions are in the mode of passion. And third is mode of ignorance, the action performed with the illusion or delusion without considering future bondage or consequence. So this is very, very important to understand. Many of the people who eat meat just for their sense enjoyment, they know what they are doing is wrong, but they continue to eat meat without consideration of future bondage or consequence. So such, and it inflicts injury and impractical. So such person in illusion, it is called mode of ignorance. Actions in mode of ignorance. Now we look at workers based on different modes of nature. So somebody can take up these three slokas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, mother.
Mukta sango naham vadi धृत्युत्साहसमन्वितः सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्योर्वि निर्विकारा कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते रागी कर्मफलप्रेप्सुर्लुब्धो हिंसात्मको शुचिः हर्षशोकान्वितः कर्ता राजसः परिकीर्तितः अयुक्तप्राकृतस्तब्धा शठो नैष्कृतिकोलसः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामस उच्यते. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be the worker in the mode of goodness. The worker who is attached to the work and the fruits of the work, desiring to enjoy these fruits, and who is greedy always, envious, impure, and moved by the joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. The worker who is always engaged in the work against the injunctions of the scriptures, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhu. So what we need to understand from this is, a person in Krishna consciousness is always transcendental to all these modes of nature. He has no expectations from his actions and steady in dualities. Whatever tough situation or whatever pleasure situation, he is always steady. Why is this happening with such a person? What is the reason? Because it is said by Prabhupada that such a person is free of false ego and false pride. So what is false ego? That we are this body. The true ego is to understand we are not this body, we are the spirit soul, and understand our constitutional position to be the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and engage in his and his service of his devotees. So that is the true ego. So without any expectation of result, if you see, the devotees are even more enthusiastic to work for the Supreme Lord. So such a worker is known as mode of goodness. And then 18.27, this talks about person who is too materialistic, too attached to his families, too attached to sense enjoyment, working very hard for his sense enjoyment as well as material pleasures. Yeah, he is highly pleased when he is successful. At the same time, he becomes too distressed, dejected in his failures. He gets into depression. So such person are in mode of passion and mode of ignorance. So these are lazy, unclean, and they always procrastinate any activity given to them. They keep procrastinating things, and such work done by such a person is a distress for himself as well as for the entire society. So such work is in mode of ignorance. We will now look at three kinds of intelligence based on mode of material nature. So next three slokas somebody can take up, please.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, ma'am.
Pravrittim cha वृत्तिं च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी यया धर्मम् अधर्मं च कार्यं चाकार्यम् एव च अयतावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ राजसी अधर्मं धर्मम् इति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश्च बुद्धिः सा पार्थ तामसी हरे कृष्ण
O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, that understanding is established in the mode of goodness. And that understanding which cannot distinguish between the religious ways of life and the irreligious, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, that imperfect understanding, O son of Pratha, is the mode of passion. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So the performing actions in terms of the directions given in our scriptures is called pravritti. So one who does not know the scriptural directions become entangled in such actions as well as reaction and keep taking who is entangled in this vicious cycle of birth and death. Understanding what actions to do and what not to do, this is the real intelligence, and such person is in mode of goodness. So from where this intelligence comes? So we discussed before sadhu, shastra and guru. By taking shelter of these three, we get the real intelligence. Now talking about mode of passion. One who cannot distinguish between the religious way and irreligious way, what to be done, what not to be done, and his understanding is imperfect. So such person is in mode of passion. We see many pious people in the society, but without this knowledge, what is given in the scriptures, they continue to work very hard for their own sense enjoyment, or they do some charitable, they contribute for some charitable cause, but out of expectation of some results, expectation of some name, fame. So such people are in the mode of passion. And the people in ignorance is always, they are working in opposite way. Their understanding is always opposite. They think they understand that the great soul as a common man, and they accept a common man to be a great soul, and they think truth to be untruth and untruth to be truth. So such a person is, his intelligence is in mode of ignorance. Now one more important thing, the determination. Utsaha nishchaya dhairya. So this determination is very, very important for us to continue in our spiritual progress, right? So let us see what it says based on three modes. So somebody can take up this shloka.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mother.
धृत्यायया धारयते मनःप्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृति सा पार्थ सात्विकी यया तु धर्मकामार्थान् धृत्या धारयतेऽर्जुन प्रसङ्गेन फलाकाङ्क्षी धृति सा पार्थ राजसी यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चन्ति दुर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and thus controls the mind, life, and the acts of the senses, is in the mode of goodness. And that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive result in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination is in the mode of darkness. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. So here there is a mention of yoga practice. So yoga is the means for understanding this supreme soul, and one who is fixed firmly at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord with determination, concentrating his mind on the lotus feet of Supreme Lord by controlling his sensory activities and engaging in Krishna consciousness. So such kind of determination is known as mode of goodness. So we have learned in Sloka 9.34. It says, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mam evaishyasi yuktam yam atmanam matparayanaha. So what it says, Krishna is saying, engage your mind, always thinking of me, become my devotee and worship me, and you will surely come to me. So to do that, determination is required. Irrespective of whatever situation we are in our life, our material life as well as spiritual life should always go in parallel. Many times what we do, little disturbances in our material life, first thing we compromise on our sadhana, our spiritual progress. So irrespective of our material situations, if we are completely determined to progress in our self-realization, such a determination is known as mode of goodness. And then 18.34, this talks about a determination. We have seen a very hardworking person is putting all his effort, working 16 hours a day, but what is the result he is working for? For his own material opulences, name, fame. So such a person, such determination is mode of passion. And the person who is always dreaming, as we said, the person in ignorance is always procrastinating things, is dreaming, and one who cannot avoid oversleep, who want to give more comforts to his body, who cannot avoid pride of enjoying material objects. He always want to lord over material nature. Such a person's determination is in mode of ignorance. So here we are going to talk about the happiness in different modes. So let us see, somebody can take up the slokas.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Yattatagre vishamiva pariname mrutopamam tatsukham satvikam proktam atmabuddhi prasadajam vishayendriya samyogat yattatagre mrutopamam pariname vishamiva tatsukham rajasamsmritam yadagre chanubandhe cha सुखं मोहनम् आत्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्तं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Somebody who has not tried so far can try English translation.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
That which in the beginning may just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. That happiness which is derived from contact of the sense with their objects and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end is said to be of the nature of passion. And that happiness which is blind of self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to the end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be the nature of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. 18.37, it talks, it's very important slokas where we understand in the pursuit of happy self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations. That is what we are trying to do, sadhana bhakti, isn't it? It's controlling the mind, controlling the senses, trying to engage our mind and senses in service of the Rishikesha. That is what we learned. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. The topmost definition of pure devotional service is engaging in our mind and senses in pleasure of the Lord. In pleasure of the Lord, we get happiness. So such a pleasure is in mode of goodness. And what is the quality of this? It looks like poison in the beginning, but it is nectar at the end. When we ask you to wake up in Brahma Muhurta, chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, all these things are very, very difficult in the beginning, isn't it? But as we progress, we know the real happiness lies there. At the same time, 18.38, mode of passion, all the attraction between opposite sex, their sense enjoyment is very pleasing in the beginning, but it always leads to distress later. All this pleasure is very, very temporary. All the sense enjoying thing like eating meat or whatever food we eat without offering to the Lord, all the food which is available out there, it is very tasty in the beginning, but it leads to a lot of health issues later, isn't it? And that is what we understand here. Happiness derived from the combination of senses and sense objects. Such happiness always leads to distress. So this is nectar in the beginning, but actually poison later. And what is for mode of ignorance? It says, one who take pleasure in laziness, one who continue to procrastinate, one who take pleasure in sleep, you want to sleep more. Such a person is certainly in mode of darkness. And what we need to understand is, for such person, by sleeping more, he is neither getting pleasure in the beginning nor any pleasure later. It will only lead to distress. So this is happiness in the mode of ignorance. We'll move to the next sloka, 18.40. Somebody can try. Somebody who has not tried so far, I see Kalpana Mataji and Ambika Mataji is doing one wonderful service. This being the last chapter, I want many more participation. Anybody else can try, else Kalpana Mataji and Ambika Mataji can continue to recite. There are a lot of devotees, yeah. Yatika Mataji, Prabhu, Praveen Prabhu, Suchana Mataji, Karuna Mataji, Jaideep Prabhu. Come on, this is our last chapter.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, selected.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Na tad asti prithviyam va divi devesu va punah sattvam prakriti jar muktam yad yabhi syat tribhir gunai. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. So here it is clearly said, right from the topmost demigod in the heavenly planets to the lowest of ants, they are all under the influence of material modes of nature. Only Supreme Lord Krishna is above the material modes of nature. So we have to surrender again to the Supreme Lord to break free from these material modes of nature. That is what we understood in Sloka Devi Isha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. So my external energy is very difficult to cross over. At the same time, a devotee who has surrendered to me will cross over easily. Now we are moving to the next section, section D, which Shloka 41 to 48. So it says, all work is controlled by the modes, yet one can become free from the reaction of the work by acting as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. This is following the Varnashrama Dharma, and one who does his prescribed duty as Niskama Karma Yoga. What is Nishkama Karma Yoga? Without expecting any fruits of such activities, and continue to worship the Lord through his work. This work, even if is faultily done, it is better than accepting another's occupation, is what we are going to learn. That is, as per Varnashrama Dharma, there are 4 segments, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Everybody has their own prescribed duty. Better to do their own duty faultily than trying to imitate others' duty, is what Krishna is trying to give this knowledge. So we will look more detail into it in further shlokas. The 4 kind of ashramas based on modes of material nature. Somebody can take up this. So this continuous 3 shlokas, Kalpana Mataji, Rambika Mataji, or any other devotee who are comfortable, they can try.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Yes, Mother.
Shall I recite?
Yes, go ahead, Mother.
शमोदमस्तपशौचम् क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम् शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्यपलायनं दानम् ईश्वरभावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम् कृषि गोरक्ष्य वाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजम् परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Farming, cattle raising, and businesses are the qualities of work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras there is labor and service to others. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So here the qualities of work of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra has been explained. So the person, the Brahmana, he is always peaceful, self-control, and he is always engaging in austerities, purifying activities. He is always tolerant, honest, and try to gain his wisdom and knowledge reading the Shastras and trying to impart this knowledge to all the conditioned souls out there. These are the qualities of the Brahmana, and the Kshatriya are known for their determination, their power, their heroism, how resourcefulness, how nicely they use their resources, how courageous in the battle, and they are generous and always protective of the people under their shelter, and the leadership qualities. So these are all the qualities of work of a Kshatriya. And what does Vaishya do? Like the farming, cattle raising, trading, business. These are all some of the qualities of Vaishya, and Shudras are the one who works for all these class of people, labor and service to others. Next shloka.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Swe swe karmani abhirata samsiddhim labhate narah swakarma niratha siddhim yatha vindati tach sunu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you. Translation, please.
By following the qualities of work, every man can become a perfect. Now, please hear from me how this can be done. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you. So I think the attendance link is already shared. Kindly mark your respective attendances. So we discussed about the different qualities as per Varnashrama Dharma of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. By following his quality of work, every man can become perfect. It is not necessary somebody, a Shudra doing his services, labor activities, he can also by properly following his activity, he can also perfect his life. So he need not have to imitate other class of people mentioned in the Varnashrama Dharma is the knowledge we are trying to understand here. So we will discuss that point detailedly here. So somebody can take up.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yatta pravriti bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmanatam abhyachya siddhim vindati manavaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah. So here, this verse again, it is re-emphasizing that we are the spirit soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And Krishna, with his plenary expansion, is pervading and residing within our heart as Paramatma. And if we are engaging in our work as per our prescribed duty, as per our Varnashrama Dharma, and offering our fruits of our work as a service to the Supreme Lord, that is the perfection of life. It's what we learn. So there is a beautiful sloka, chapter 12, sloka 17, which says, Tesam aham samuddarta mrutyum samsara sagarat bhavami chirat partha maya chetasam. So it says, the Supreme Lord himself will take charge of delivering such a person, such a devotee who does his prescribed duty and offering the results to the Supreme Lord, doing your duty as a service and for the pleasure of the Lord. Such a person is personally taken care by the Supreme Lord. So whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he is serving the Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection in this particular life itself. This is what we learn from this sloka. Next sloka.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Go
Yes,
ahead,
Mataji.
Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmatsva anustitat स्वभावा नियतं कर्म कुर्वान् नप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It's better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept others' occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by the sinful reactions. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, thank you. So here there's a beautiful picture in the PPT. There are all the animals. Who is going to climb the tree first? If you try to test the ability of an elephant by his ability to climb the tree, then you are doing mistake, isn't it? Similarly, the duties of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra are prescribed in Varnashrama Dharma based on their modes of nature. One should not try to imitate another's duty is what we learn. And second important thing is no work, whatever has been mentioned here, no work is abominable based on the prescription in Varnashrama Dharma. Everybody is doing certain activities, certain work, and everything if is dedicating this for the pleasure and performed as a service to the Lord, that is perfect. And Arjuna as a Kshatriya is expected to fight and kill his enemies in the battlefield. By doing such an act, he need not have to fear of any degradation. The soldier is expected to fight the enemy and protect his citizens. When a soldier in a border kills an enemy, it is not a abominable act, is what we are trying to understand. Sometimes Brahmana, we have heard in Vedic. Praveen Prabhu, you have any questions?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. I'm audible, Prabhu?
Yes, yes.
Prabhuji, the question was regarding the prescribed duty. See, actually, for all the gruhasthas, right? I mean, if you can just throw more light on the prescribed duty, what is the prescribed duty for gruhasthas precisely? What is and what should be their mode while they perform their prescribed duty?
See, what we learn from our acharyas, when you get into a grihastha life from a brahmachari life, yeah, we all have some weaknesses, and one who can control his senses can continue to engage in service as a brahmachari. But all this varnashrama dharma is planned for our purification. So we get into grihastha ashrama, and what is the prescribed duty of a grihastha? First of all is to help your spouse to progress in Krishna consciousness, and the second important thing is to beget Krishna consciousness children and help them, provide a good platform for them to progress in Krishna consciousness. So this is the prescribed duty of any grihasthas. Right, Prabhuji?
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. So the conclusion is that everyone should be engaged in his prescribed duty as a mercy of the Lord. Any relationship we are in, we see it as a mercy of the Lord for our purification. All the relatives who are there in our life could be our some or the other past life karmas coming into us. It is in a way trying to purify our past life karmas as well. And what is important to note is no work is abominable. Everything is as per Varnashrama Dharma, and one has to engage in this prescribed in his own prescribed duty, purify, and then rise above these modes of nature and entanglements of modes of nature. So next sloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosamapi natayet sarvarambha hi doshena dhumena agneraivarta. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature. O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So this again is a very important sloka. What it says, no work is perfect in itself. So the qualities of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra or Vaishya, there is some kind of faulty in all these qualities of work. So knowing that one should not leave his prescribed duty. What it said, in conditioned life in this material world, nothing is perfect. Sometimes as a Brahmana, he has to kill animals for some ritual, Vedic rituals, practices. So knowing this, he should not abandon his prescribed duties. Similarly, a Kshatriya, however pious he is expected to fight and kill the enemies. He cannot avoid that. Similarly, a Vaishya in his business, he can't go out there and tell what his profits are from his business to everybody, isn't it? So he need not have to reveal everything. Similarly, as a Shudra, when he's serving a master, sometime he may be serving a very bad master, but still as a duty, he has to continue to serve. So we will just touch upon a couple of slokas in section E. Here, what are we trying to learn is the confidential knowledge from the reaction-free work through Jnana Yoga to Brahman platform and to rise further to devotional service. So one practicing Nishkama Karma Yoga detached from work attains goodness and the knowledge that he is not this body. With this knowledge, he continue to engage in devotional service and rise above these modes of material nature by serving the Supreme Lord is what and reaches the kingdom of God. So we will take couple of sloka and then we will end the session today, and rest we can cover up in the next session. So somebody can take up this sloka, please.
Shall I, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruha naisya karmya siddhim paramam sanyasenadhigacchati. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Mataji. So we are moving from the Karma Yoga to the Jnana Yoga. So who can engage in Jnana Yoga? So here it says, one who is self-controlled and completely unattached can engage in Jnana Yoga. So the real renunciation, what is real renunciation? We have discussed to know that he is not this body, he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And therefore he knows that he is not independent. He is always dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And he doesn't think of enjoying his results. He always wants to surrender the results to the Supreme Lord. It could be good or bad. It is all mercy. He sees as mercy of the Lord. Yeah, that is actual Krishna consciousness. So next sloka, it's only English translation. Somebody can take up.
Translation. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize.
Yes.
Krishna.
So thank you, Mataji. So the Brahman platform, it is said the supreme perfectional stage. So it is rising above our karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga. So we are rising above. So in these words, Lord explains Arjuna that simply by being engaged in one's occupational duty and performing the duty for the Supreme Lord, one attained the stage of Brahman simply by renouncing the results of the work and working for the satisfaction of the Lord. So this is what we learn from. We will stop at this point. Further, we will discuss more in detail, and then we discuss more about the devotional service and how do we surrender to the Supreme Lord. And next class is going to be our last class of level 2. So my humble request, you all to please take out time and come. And as per the instructions of Namanista Prabhu, we are also calling level 3 teacher for next class. So at the end of the class, he is going to come. We will introduce your level 3 teacher. He is going to briefly give you what you can expect from level 3. And one more good news is, by the mercy and blessings of Namanista Prabhu and Aishwarya Mataji, so they have instructed me to take next Bhakti Shastri class. So devotees who are chanting 16 round and who wish to continue to associate with me can join the next directly Bhakti Shastri. It is going to be my first batch Bhakti Shastri. I am also going to learn a lot associating with the devotees, wonderful devotees there. So all the devotees completed level 2, all your quizzes, chanting 16 rounds. So they can straight away, by the mercy of Namanista Prabhu, you can join Bhakti Shastri class. So when we are going to start, still I have not planned. It has just come to me. So I thought I will share it with you all. So you're all wonderful devotees right from day one. You are all so nicely connected, associated with lot of enthusiasm. You are progressing. So it's a great opportunity for us to continue our association through Bhakti Shastri. Yeah, so my humble request is continue to pray for me. I am also learning with you all. Need to do justice. It's a big responsibility. With the mercy of our Guru Parampara and all our Shiksha Guru and all your prayers, definitely I think it will be a good journey forward. So with this, I will end my session. So any quick questions from today's topic we can discuss? Any point you wish to share from today's learning, please share. It will help all of us, including me. And then we will wind up for today. And next class will be our last class for level 2. Request all of you to complete your respective quizzes and come down. That is your, if you want to do something for me, complete your quiz, come with your successful level 2 certificates, and then let us progress together. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Any topics, any key learnings from today? Any quick questions we can discuss? I always look forward for what are the key learnings from the session that will help me also. Many times what I have not understood, many devotees, when they share realization, I realize, oh, okay, there is a different perspective to this as well. So I always look forward for that as well from you all. Hare Krishna. Now the floor is open to you all. I will mute, you can speak.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhuji, so L3 is nothing but Bhakti Shastri?
No, Mataji. Level 3 is you are going to learn about nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, and Sri Ishopanishad. So these 3 scriptures will be discussed in level 3. Bhakti Shastri is a very serious commitment of about 18 months. It is just one class a week. and we are going to discuss in detail about Bhagavad Gita and all these three scriptures.